Sorry about the abrupt cutoff from that last video. Next, we're going to assign colors to your artwork, and this is going to look familiar. So we are on Artboard 3 from our Artboard navigation menu. I checked that right there, and I have selected everything. You can do select all on Artboard, or just click and drag like I have, like I'm so fond of. So we're going to click the Recolor Artwork here in our control panel. Now this looks familiar. We got some boxes here. Your white actually shouldn't be selected, because if I were to do this, it changes everything. So I'd hit cancel, kind of go back, maybe go to exact. So essentially that white you're actually not supposed to be able to adjust. So I'm just going to make that a negative. I clicked on this arrow to none, and we'll play with it in a second. So what we're going to do is we're going to select logo 2 from our art group, and it's only changed the top colors. Our white has not been selected because we clicked on the arrow. If it's not an option, that's totally fine. So we're going to click on it, and it's going to preserve all these colors. We can hide this, we can rearrange, we can play around. I'm going to hide this, and what we're going to do is we're going to click on this arrow right here so that that green stays the same. And we're on page 199, and as you can see, it would change in the background. The next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to click on this arrow right here. So for a white, it's kind of grayed out, and we're going to click logo 2, click on a different group, back to logo 2, and that knocked that green back to the bottom because we didn't have it selected. Then next, we're going to drag this blue down on top of this brown, and just kind of switch those spots so those colors would be adjusted. And then we're going to double click this green. Now we're going to change this color. We're on page 200, and we're going to click the color swatches, and you have all of our swatches we created, and we are going to find the light green. Click on that. Click OK, and everything should be okay. We're going to click this button, Save Changes to Color Group, and click OK, and then now our color has been adjusted. Mine's a little different. That's totally fine because that's how I kind of recreated that logo too. And we're going to click Save. The next part is painting with patterns. Pattern is artwork that's saved in the swatches panel that can be applied to stroke or fill of an object. Patterns can be really fun. So we're going to go to 1 in our artboard, and we're going to select this large brown shape and hide this selection, object, hide selection, because we want to work with this back here. And we're going to click on the swatches panel, and we're going to find, it's actually already open. And we're going to go to libraries, so the little books, patterns, basic patterns, textures. So our swatches are different textures, and using our selection tool, we're going to fill the large white triangle on the left edge of the artboard, which is actually here, the shape. And we are going to select the sticks pattern. So you can highlight, or we can type sticks right there. And we kind of have a sticks pattern over there and in our swatches panel, and we can select, deselect, and save. These ones have a lot of saving for us. With our selection tool, we're going to actually select the yellow leaf shape off the left edge of the artboard right here, and we're going to create our own pattern. So we're going to go to Object, Pattern, Make. So it's going to have this dialog box. So our new pattern has been added to the swatches panel. Any changes made within the pattern editing will be applied to the swatch upon exit. Cool. So when we create a pattern, Isolator enters the pattern editing mode, which is similar to group isolation mode, which we've worked with in previous lessons. Pattern editing mode allows us to create and edit patterns interactively while previewing the changes while the pattern is on the artboard. The pattern option panel window, pattern options, and gives you the necessary tools. So we have our center leaf right there, and we can kind of zoom in to kind of have it fill. And everything around here is our pattern tile. It's kind of lighter color, so it's going to be our repeat. With the leaf shape selected, change the fill to the forest green swatch now in our color group. So we're going to find our forest green. There we go. So we change that fill collector in our stroke to none. But it has, so we want to make sure that is selected. What did I do? I backed out too much. That's okay. Edit object, pattern, make. Okay. Forest green. And we're going to make sure that stroke is none. And we're going to change the opacity to 80 in this control panel. So it gives us kind of a light. We're going to explore some of this pattern options. We'll edit the artwork. So we're going to name this new pattern to leaves. And we're going to choose, for tile type, you can do different options for how it arranges. We're going to do hex by column, which kind of nexts them together. It kind of adjusts the outside shape within the inside shape, so when they pattern around. The name's going to appear in our swatches panel as a tooltip, and it can be helpful to distinguish multiple patterns. There's a lot of different things with pattern making and selection that's just really cool to play around with. So while we're still in here, we're going to open with the selection tool selected. We're going to drag the leaf to the left a little. And the blue tile moves with all the artwork. So if we pull up our symbols, it's actually, we're going to put this medium leaf and we're going to just drag it to the right of here to kind of create kind of a pattern over here. And you can kind of play around. I want you guys to kind of have some uniqueness with your patterns. You can do size tile to art, which kind of fits this area. So we're kind of working the tile where the repeat is. It's kind of sized within the art. There's different overlapping, of course. And we can even adjust the size of the tile there too with this button right there. We can overlap in front to see where things are overlapped. Really, I kind of just want you to play around with this pattern. There's the H and V spacing. Play around. I just want you to play around with this pattern. I don't really care how it's made. Just play. And I'm going to actually, once you're done up here, you can click Done. Yeah, sure. Okay. And we're going to file S. So we're going to apply this pattern. We've created a pattern, but we haven't really done anything with it, which is totally fine. We're going to choose View, Artboard Window, and with the selection tool, click the shape with the sticks pattern swatch. So this one right here, we're going to go to our swatches, and we're going to fill with leaves. And that's going to be the fill for that. And we can edit our patterns. So in pattern editing mode, we need to edit. We can change the fill color to forest green. So we can, so we're in pattern editing mode, and we're going to select all 3 green leaves. I'm just doing shift for all of them, and we want to change their fill color to this forest green to make sure they're all the same color. And we're going to select the smallest leaf, which is this one. I'm going to change the opacity to 30. I'm going to change the medium to 45. Again, if you've played around with the overlapping and stuff, but I want you to still have 3 leaf shapes. And we're going to click Done, and it's kind of applied changes right there. So to click the shape on the left edge of the artboard with the pattern, we're going to double click on it. And we're going to double click the scale tool. So we're going to click the scale tool right here in our tools panel to make the pattern smaller without affecting the shape of the scale. In the scale dialog box, change the following. So you want the uniform scale to be 90. Scale, strokes, and effects are going to be deselected. Transform objects deselected, and transform pattern selected. And we are going to click OK. And that just made it a little smaller. And we're going to shift click, actually zoom out. We're going to shift click the dark green rectangle behind the sign. Oh. Shift click so they're both selected. We're going to click on the alignment. We're going to horizontal align center. And aligns them both. Then vertical align center, and that just nests them together. And then we're going to open our layers panel and make all layers visible by selecting the visibility column to the left of the layer, sign text. So we're going to open this up right here and bring this text here. We're going to do objects, show all to make sure everything is visible. And we're going to do file, save. So the next part we're going to work with live paint. That's going to be the next video.